try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they see me. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Easter, happy Easter. How's everybody doing? Welcome to my fellow Americans. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Hope everybody's holiday was amazing and, kids chasing some eggs around the house and doing what they do. Boing, 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 boing. It's been a week or two, maybe. Kind of been hanging out with the family, but we are here and a lot of stuff has been going on. We'll touch a few of those topics today and we'll be trying to pump out some more content pretty regularly. So without further ado, we'd like to pay respects to Pope Francis, who passed away early this morning, day after Easter. He met with J.D. Vance, I believe, yesterday too as well. So it's kind of crazy. He's been sick for a while, and we pray he's in a better place. So, how has everybody been doing? Is everybody used to the craziness of Democrats and the left taking the sides of illegals over the actual victims? And Maryland Governor Van Hollen went down to El Salvador with Abrego Garcia, and I don't get it. I don't understand how it just doesn't make sense. He's going down there and trying to justify all because he says he didn't get his due rights. It's just silly because first off, he's an El Salvadorian citizen. That's one. Two, he's in our country illegally. Three, an immigrant judge and the appellate immigration judge both ruled that he had MS-13 affiliations. And what did Mr. Trump do? He made MS-13 and Tren de Aragua terrorists. Therefore, under the Alien Enemies Act, he can get them out of our country. Now, Joe Biden and his amazing team and his administration opened the borders, free to come. He even flown some in, gave them social security numbers so they could vote. Tried to cheat our American system. That's pretty much the basics of it. And, all these negative things that the Democrats have done, the far left extremists, all them lunatics, and they're such hypocrites. They're the biggest hypocrites in the world. And, it's only okay for them to do certain things. But when it's on the other foot, oh, you're a monster, or you're a Nazi, or a fascist, oligarchy. And the Democrats faces the leaders like AOC and Jasmine crock shit and Bernie Sanders, which I don't even, dude's been around so long, he's ancient. They're just all in it, it's insanity, and when Trump says common sense, you really got to understand common sense. And some of this stuff just isn't, it's common sense. You don't support illegal immigrants who are criminals. I mean, Abrego's wife had 2 restraining orders on him for domestic violence. He hit her, he punched her, he scratched her, whatever he did, domestic violence. This is what he did. There's been talk of him trafficking people. Plus he's got the tattoos on his hand. He's got a pot leaf on his one finger, which is for marijuana, so that's M. And then he's got the smiley face for S, so that's MS. And then he's got a cross that represents a 1, that's MS1. And then he's got a skull with 3 dots in it for 3, so MS13. So he's got the tattoos. Other judges have said that he has ties with MS13. He was arrested at one point with other MS13 members. I just don't understand. You want to give someone due process who doesn't even have a right to be in our country, who shouldn't be in our country. He's a criminal. He is a criminal. And this guy, Van Hollen, I'll play this video and you can hear him talk. It's ridiculous. Like, I would be embarrassed and ashamed and sick if I would never go out and talk and do the things that this man is doing. And he's not the only one. There's other ones that said they want to go to El Salvador, like Cory Booker, Mr. 25-hour filibuster speaker, record holder. Who gives a shit? Does anybody know what he talked about other than a few people that are his friends? Because I didn't listen to a damn thing he had to say, because it was all, again, Trump, rah, 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 trying to scare the people. And that's what these Democrats do. So let's play this real quick.
Margarita Gate. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but President Bukele, after I met with Kilmar, did this tweet showing us at a table with these 2 glasses. So here's what happened. When I first sat down with...
Now, sorry to stop you right here, but first off, he's talking about glasses at a table. Listen, they sent this man to meet at like some country club, uppity place. Like, he actually got to meet with him. It wasn't like he had to go into a prison. He didn't have to go into a holding cell to talk to this guy. They let him out, obviously under surveillance, with him. And it's just silly. And this guy's down. Just finish listening.
Kilmar, we just had glasses of water on the table. I think maybe some coffee.
More than he should have.
As we were talking, one of the government people came over and deposited 2 other glasses on the table with ice, and I don't know if it was salt or sugar around the top, but they look like margaritas. And if you look at the one they put in front of Kilmar, it actually had a little less liquid than the one in front of me, to try to make it look, I assume, like he drank out of it. Let me just be very clear. Neither of us touched the drinks that were in front of us. And if you want to play a little short...
Listen, it doesn't even matter if you touch the drinks. The fact of the matter is, you're still down there supporting an illegal immigrant, alien, who's a woman beater, part of a terrorist organization, and a criminal. What more do you need that you would rather support a guy like Abreu Garcia over the victims of illegal aliens and these kind of criminals? Really, you'd rather support criminals, illegals, people who should have no rights in our country, over your citizens. And we'll get to one of those citizens in a moment.
So if you look at the video or the picture I sent out from the beginning of our meeting, you'll see there are no glasses on the table. So you'll see in later videos they are on the table. But they made a little mistake, where some people are very careful, right? If you sip out of one of those glasses, some of whatever it was, salt or sugar, would disappear. You would see a gap. There's no gap. Nobody drank any margaritas or sugar water or whatever it is. But this is a lesson into the lengths that President Bukele will do to deceive people about what's going on. And it's also shows the lengths that the Trump administration and the president will go to, because when he was asked about a reporter about this, he just went along for the ride. So the White House and the president have been lying about this case from the beginning. They've been trying to change the subject from the beginning.
Now, it's all nonsense. The guy is down there and he's trying to make, he literally has no solid points to talk about. So he decides to go talking about mojitos or whatever the hell that they were drinking. And who gives a shit? Number one, it's not important what the guy's drinking. The fact that he's in normal clothes sitting at a table at some kind of nice restaurant or country club, I think is far more than the guy deserves. He's a criminal. He's a citizen of El Salvador. He's where he's supposed to be. And even President Bukele of El Salvador said, no, I won't be giving him back. Why would I do that? I actually said something like, what, you want me to smuggle him back in the United States? He's an El Salvadorian citizen. You want him to bring a guy that's not even legal to be here back here just so we can give him a day in court for a couple days and send him back out? That's all taxpayer money. These are the stupid, idiotic things that these Democrats stand for. Nonsense. Anything they can try to do, they have nothing. They have no standing. They have no direction. It's all nonsense. There's nothing. I mean, you got crazy people like Jasmine Crockett out here. Everything's race. Everything's race. She's a black woman. We know you're a black woman, but you're supposed to be a person that represents your constituents. You don't represent nobody but yourself, first off. And I can't stand listening to Jasmine Crockett. But then it's not even her. Then you got AOC, and she drives me nuts. And Bernie Sanders, he's been preaching oligarchy for 50 years, it seems like. Every year he's got oligarchy. The oligarchy's taking the oligarchy. And the one thing I've started to notice is that the Democrats try to scare you with things that they are trying to do, because in reality, the Democrats tried to put millions of immigrants across the border. They didn't have no thing to go through when they all were given Social Security cards, Social Security numbers. Biden flew most of them in, gave them Social Security numbers so they could vote. Now, why would you do something like that? Well, probably because if a Democrat brings you in, and it's the Democrats that are bringing you in and giving you Social Security numbers, who do you think those people would vote for? And then if you strategically place them throughout the country in certain spots and you win these elections, you have control. So if anybody's guilty of trying to be a Nazi, dictator, fascist, oligarch, whatever, it's the Democrats, the people preaching the same stuff. And, happily, I think a lot of Americans are coming to terms with this. They're starting to see what it really is. And, you can only deal with so much lies. I hate watching the news anymore, because it's just especially if Democrats are around, because all they do is lie, and they try to make big deals out of little things. You want to give a guy rights. You want him to come back here for due process. Just so he's going to be gone anyway. That's it. They're going to send him out regardless of if he come back or not. So why waste taxpayer money on that? And why pick that hill to die on? Now you got Van Hollen, whatever, the governor of Maryland, flying down on a taxpayer's dime to vouch for a gang member, a criminal, a terrorist, a wife beater. It makes zero sense. I don't know. There's no common sense in that. But then you have Rachel Morin, and that is murdered brutally by an illegal alien that was free to come over in our wide open, unsafe borders, allowing whoever decides to come into our country, which in itself should be treason for the Biden administration to allow all these people to flood into our country, not vetted. And you probably have Chinese people that military Chinese setting up, and you got sleeper cells coming in, terrorists. I'm not saying everybody that came in was a bad person, and that's the thing. If you come in the right way, you get vetted and you earn your citizenship. You don't just come here. But he didn't. He led them. He flew them here, gave them social security numbers, gave them everything, handed them money, paying for hotel rooms when we got our own people that suffer. And that's the point, is they don't care about us Americans. They don't care about the people who actually live and pay taxes here. And that man used taxpayer dollars to fly his ass down there to talk to this illegal. For what? But like I said, then we have Rachel Morin's mother. She was on Hannity the other night, and she described what had happened to her daughter. And I just want to we'll play that for you real quick, because it's disgusting. And this is what Democrats, they want to give due process to these illegals, criminals, and I don't know about you, but it's just really not right at all. I'm at a loss for words. It frustrates me, but here it goes.
Family, her 5 children, and her mother, Patty Morin, who joins us now. Patty, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. I've had the opportunity to talk to you before, and I want to get your reaction to the verdict. And it will never be mother of your 5 grandchildren. How do you feel about it? Maybe you have some vindication, but I'm sure it's in a lot of ways hollow, right?
Yeah. First, you have to understand, and I think the American people don't understand the gruesome brutality of the crime. And a lot of the details were left out when they gave us kind of like the outline of what they were going to present to the prosecutors. But when you were actually sitting in the courtroom, when we were there for the whole trial, and they showed over 500 pieces of evidence and very, very graphic crime scene photos and autopsy photos. And when you saw that 3/4 of her brain was hemorrhaged, that 3/4 of her skull was bashed in, she had a 6-inch square in the back of her head where the skull was shattered the way that you would crush an eggshell. She had her face was bashed in. She had literally bruises, contusions, scrapes all over her body. The murderer dragged her 150 yards as blood gushed out of her head into the tunnel. And then he put her up against the tunnel wall and raped her. And you could see her body, and you see the outline of blood from her head running down. So you see the outline of her body and blood on the tunnel wall. These are the kind of people that the Biden-Harris administration has allowed into our country. And they think that it's okay to defend them instead of defending my daughter and protecting us.
Yep.
I don't understand that. So,
and she's from Maryland, the same state that Van Hollen, the governor, the guy that went down to visit this Garcia guy. So he's paying more attention to a criminal terrorist than in his rights, more than being there for his constituent who of this woman who lost her daughter in that brutal fashion. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the most I heard out of him about it publicly was it's a terrible thing, blah, 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 all meaningless nonsense. Because the fact of the matter is always going to be and will still remain, he's putting illegals, criminals, terrorists ahead of his citizens. And I'm telling you, y'all need to get him voted out in the next election because it's sick. You should be able to use your common sense. And how hard is it to put America and Americans first? Obviously, it's very hard. And it's sad. It's very sad.
I am having seen the evidence and seen the gruesome brutality that my daughter had to endure. I am very grateful to all the law enforcement and all the investigation and all the different law enforcement agencies that work to find the suspect and to bring him to justice. So when we heard the verdict, it was very sad because we had to relive and see everything that my daughter suffered. But then at the same time, we were convinced that this was the murderer and that justice was served.
And thoughts and prayers go out to that family. Like, nobody deserves to have a child go through something so severe. I mean, they convicted this guy. They were in an hour. So it, pretty much what's there to argue? The guy was here illegally, mind you, an illegal alien, just like Abreu Garcia, except Abreu Garcia is affiliated with MS-13. And MS-13, they use machetes and drugs and sex traffic and all that nonsense. And he's not even a resident. He's not, like, that's what kills me is you want to give rights to people who are here illegally. As soon as they come over here illegally, they broke our laws. Why should they be given the right to stay? It makes no sense. If they can't follow a simple law of getting in the country legally, what makes you think they're going to follow the laws in the country? We got a little clip from Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller. I like Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, man. This guy's he's a drip.
Policy of open borders. We can spend the rest of our lives trying to document those harms. Where does our whole country go to get repaid for all of the wealth, all of the prosperity and security that has been stolen from us by decades of uncontrolled illegal mass migration? Because we all deserve reparations for what has been stolen from us. It is a tragedy that defies our ability to even describe it.
So there's a question I asked my wife, and I want you guys to answer it in the comments section below, please. So,
do you know how many stories I could tell you of children that were trafficked across the border and raped because of the policies of Joe Biden? There aren't enough volumes that could fit into a library to calculate the carnage that has been inflicted by the Democrat Party's policy of open borders. We can spend the rest of our lives trying to document those harms. Where does our whole country go to get repaid for all of the wealth, all of the prosperity and security that has been stolen from us by decades of uncontrolled illegal mass?
This guy, man, he just goes in. That's why I was playing it again. It's just, we're being screwed, America. We're being screwed. Us hardworking American citizens who love our country are being screwed. And that's why you see these nonsense rallies that they hold and the crazy people that are there, and they're so violent. It's all about violence. I mean, they already went through Tesla, and the Democrats never denounced that. They sat there during the joint Congress speech that Trump had, and the Democrats never stood up for nothing other than Ukraine. I'm sorry. They did stand up for Ukraine, but they didn't stand up for Lake and Riley. They didn't stand up for Rachel Morin's daughter. They didn't stand up for the boy with brain cancer, DJ. I just, where do your morals, where do you finally just, I don't even know. It's so hard. It's just, it's sick. It's sick. It really is. I have no words. It's hard for me to find words. It really does. In other news, Carmelo Anthony murdered 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. This happened. And, the dad, I don't agree with the father of Metcalf. I don't. I give him props for being polite and being forgiving. But you're wrong, man. You're so wrong. You're wrong to be forgiving. What are you forgiving for? Think about this. Carmelo Anthony had been suspended from school once for having a knife. The day of Metcalf's murder, Anthony was supposed to be in school. So he leaves school, or he doesn't even go to school, who knows? But he didn't go to school. But he shows up to another school's track meet. And from the reports that I've read and seen, apparently he was rummaging through people's private property. He had stolen AirPods in his bag. He was rummaging through people's stuff. And then he enters the Metcalf and his team's tent, and they told him, you're not supposed to be here. Like, this is not your place. You're not supposed to be here. This is for them, whatever. So apparently Mr. Anthony had said something along the lines of, puts his hand in his bag and says, touch me again and see what happens. And when Mr. Austin Metcalf goes towards him to push him out of the tent, Carmelo Anthony turns and stabs Metcalf in the heart, killing him. The cops showed up, and he even admitted that he killed him. But now he wants to claim self-defense. I don't know where you're getting self-defense. There's no self-defense in it. It shouldn't even happen. You shouldn't even have been there. And an innocent person lost their life. But that's not even the sickest part. The sickest part is that his family and certain people making donations to Mr. Carmelo Anthony and his family because they need more security and they need to be safer. They're getting threats. And I mean, look at this, a picture that I don't know if that looks like an upstanding citizen to me, but I mean, he's got an AK-47, he's flipping you the bird. Not to mention he was at this track meet, allegedly rummaging through people's stuff, trying to steal stuff that he wanted. But what's even crazier is then they have a press conference. The family holds a press conference, the dad, the mom, and Dominique Alexander. And we're going to put this on here. I'm going to show you this. Now, mind you, the father of Austin came to this to see what it was about, and he said multiple times, he's like, this wasn't about race. This wasn't about race. Mr. Metcalf is trying to not associate it with the race issue, but the problem is the Anthony family and their representative Dominic Alexander. That's all they're making it about. The man didn't show up there cursing or saying anything bad about Carmelo Anthony. He's honestly, he forgives them. That's what he said. I forgive. And this isn't about race. And you know, he was trying to be a good person, and he's trying to, and it's just sickening. But this is what Dominique Alexander had to say.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character. He was not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. And all I'm
it's just it's pathetic. This guy, Dominique, he's a felon with a history of beating babies and women. He runs a fraudulent organization that has failed to submit mandatory IRS financial filings. This is who is up there represent. It's a money grab. This family and Dominique are money grabbing. They got a GoFundMe. How does someone that sits there and murders somebody, whether he be white, black, yellow, green, blue, it doesn't matter who you are. If you stab, if you go somewhere, first off, you're on school property with a weapon. First off, you're wrong there. And it wasn't the first time he's been on school property with a weapon. Then you're allegedly rummaging through people's things, and then you end up in a tent where you're told, hey, you don't belong here, you need to leave. Touch me, see what happens. Bam, Austin's dead. How is there a GoFundMe for that family? How? In my opinion, their GoFundMe money should be given to the Metcalf family. The dad has tried to be gracious, that he's been trying to be nice, and then Dominique gets up there talking about race. And the dad was trying to say, I don't want to make this about race. I don't want to make this about race. This isn't race. I don't believe this was race related. That's what he said, somewhere along that line. And man, it's just crazy. So many people are supporting this, and you have to stand up for this stuff. This is not okay. Like, if it was the other way around, if Austin Metcalf had stabbed Carmelo Anthony in the heart, I'd be saying the same thing. I'd be saying the same exact thing. I would have been like, Mr. Metcalf shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have had a knife on school property. He shouldn't have been rummaging through people's things. He does not have a thing for self-defense because he said, touch me and see what happens, knowing what he was going to do if he touched him. And he did it. Therefore, I'd say lock him up. He shouldn't even get a bond. But no, he had $1 million. Carmelo Anthony had $1 million bond. And then he gets out on the judge lowers it to $250. Awfully funny. Awfully. It's not funny. It's sick. So here, yeah. This is Dominique Alexander, the man advocating for Carmelo Anthony. This is his rap sheet. Leading police on a high-speed chase, post-2009. Stealing a car, post-2009. Falsely claiming a car was stolen, post-2009. Offensive physical contact, 2015. Probation violations, 2016. Felony theft of property, $2,500 to $30,000, 2016. Felony assault causing serious bodily injury, 2019. Misdemeanor assault, 2019. Continuance violence against the family, 2019. Theft, undated. Making a false report, undated. And those, I guarantee that's not even his whole rap sheet. This is the guy that's up there talking. And then he had a thing, even at the press conference, he had tried to brought up Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 men in the back. Know your facts, brother. Know your facts. Kyle Rittenhouse did not shoot anybody in the back. He was self-defending himself. 3 gentlemen had come at him. One came at him with a skateboard. One pulled a gun on him. That's self-defense. Now that's legit self-defense, and he didn't shoot anybody in the back. So before you sit there and you throw out false things, false narratives, and try to sit there and make people feel, you give people don't know. They don't sit there and read into these things. So some people will listen to him say, "Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people in the back," and they'll just believe him. And it's nonsense. This dude's he's a horrible speaker. He's a horrible person for being up there doing this. And, it's sad that the father of the victim literally was trying to come there and out of solidarity and be nice and say, "I forgive," and this isn't race related, and try to keep things calm and noble. And that's how Dominique talks towards him. This is disrespectful. No, it's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful at all. Like you, Dominique and the Anthony family are trying to be the victim, and they're not the victim, not even close. I don't know. It's really a tough situation. I just don't even know anymore. And then you got Latisha James, New York State Attorney General. This is the woman that ran on, "If you elect me, I will take Trump down," and blah, blah, blah. And of course, he got all these bogus felony charges with little to no proof. And obviously it was all stacked against Trump, and people are starting to see that everything that has happened has been stacked against Trump. He hasn't had a fair shake, and this man has fought his ass off for the American people. Right now, he is fighting his ass off to bring jobs here, to make things so we're not so dependent on other people. He's trying to get our gas and our energy sector going. He's trying to get our AI sector going. They got a new ship, aircraft, the F-47 after President Trump. So we're going to be top of the line military. He's building our military up because you know what? With a strong military, regardless of if you use it or not, it's a deterrent. It's always going to be a deterrent. If you have a very strong military, an updated military, people are going to think twice before they try to do something to us. So that protects us. So I don't understand. Then he's moving out illegal immigrants. That protects us. That protects all of us. That protects the Lake and Rileys. That protects the Morin families. That protects anybody who has come across an illegal alien that has caused harm to them that doesn't need to be here. And all the Democrats can do is point fingers and say Trump's this, Trump's that, he's this, he's that, when they need to look in the goddamn mirror. But anyway, back to Latisha James. She sat there, went off on Trump, said, "If you select me, I'll go after Trump." And she did. She went after Trump. She laid into him and tried to destroy everything about him. He still gets elected. Come to find out, this lady's committing fraud on her loan applications, saying that her primary residence is in Virginia or whatever. And that can't be true because you're in the government in New York State. Therefore, you have to live in New York State. So that's a lie in itself. And then she was interviewed. I don't have the video, but she was interviewed and she said, "I don't want people harassing my family." So it's her family. And that's not even the worst part. On one of the forms, she claimed that her father was her husband. Now, the only reason you do things like this is if it's gonna work out in your favor, maybe tax-wise, or a lower interest rate on some of these loans. So, wow, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. You're trying to say Trump was fraud and this and that. With very little proof, you went after Donald Trump. Well, sorry, Latisha James, you cross-eyed criminal. I hate to tell you, you're respecting the law and all that nonsense that you say so much in your speeches. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. Yeah, you're right. No one is above the law. And I hope that the court system takes you down because you're such a hypocrite. You went after somebody. You got some balls to go after somebody for fraud like Donald Trump when you're committing fraud yourself. I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, you know what? That's just plain stupid. You're an idiot, Latisha James. And I just can't deal with it anymore. It's like just little things like that. And it's not little. It's not little. The Democrats, they say one thing, but they don't mean a damn thing. They tell you what they need you to believe to get elected. And once they're elected, they act like they're trying to work for you, but all they're doing is working for themselves. They're liars. President Trump is literally one of the first people I've seen come in here and hit the ground running, doing everything he said he would do. Everything. And the Supreme Court and these unelected judges who think they're bigger than the president are slowing everything down. So President Biden can ship in hundreds of thousands of illegals, give them social security numbers, but we have to vet them one by one and give them each one due process to get them out there. No, how is that right? Biden brought them in by the plane full. And now you're telling me Trump's got to do it one at a time, give each person a due process. There was another ad on here I was checking out that showed all the people that are waiting to be deported right now from Tren de Agua. And all of them have criminal histories and they're being held up. They're pausing it. They're slowing President Trump's agenda down for what? Because you know what? If President Trump does good things and he's a good person, you can't have that as a Democrat. You can't have that. You want to do everything in your power to dirty Trump's name, to make him out to be the bad guy, because if he's the bad guy, you can't be the bad guy. Well, guess what? The American people are coming around. The American people are seeing your fakeness. They are seeing your representation in the Democratic Party, like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Pocahontas, Bernie Sanders, Al Green, all of them. You have no morals. You try to act like you're so high and mighty over everybody else. But if you really take the time, my fellow Americans, to go out, if you really take the time to look, I was there. I'll tell you, I was there. First time I was like, this guy, I don't know. I don't like how he talks. I don't like how he acts. He's always preaching witch hunt. But when you start digging and you start looking and you start following facts and not the legacy fake ass media who tells only positives for the Democratic Party, you're in trouble. You can't listen to them people. You have to do your own research. Find out what's really going on. I want my country to be safer. Deport them. Deport illegals. Get them out of the country. At least get us back to even. Get us back to where before Biden let millions of them here. I want my family to be safe. I know a normal American wants their family to be safe. I know I'm not wrong there. Stop standing up for this. We are a country built on immigration. Yes. Not criminals, though. Not murderers. Not terrorists. We don't want you. You want to commit crimes, stay right where you are and commit them in your own country to your own people. Don't come here and hurt our people. There's a lot of good people here. And I'm not saying I'm not saying everybody's bad. That's illegal. I'm saying that come here legally. Do it the right way. Do what you can. Don't just... And if you're coming to commit crimes and be a troublemaker, or you have hate in your heart in any kind of way, you don't belong here. Get rid of him, Trump. Let him do his job. I've seen more positive in the last 4 months he's been in office than I've seen since I was, I don't know, I'm 36 now, so I never really followed politics. Like I said, I was against Trump. I didn't like what he was. I didn't like how he acted. I didn't like it. But you know what? I'm starting to see. I started to see and actually do my own research and look into the craziness that is going on right now. The Teslas, the Democrats promoting violence, the Democrats not standing up for sick kids or families that have dealt with murders, the R word, and all kind of stuff for their children, little kids, daughters. Rachel Morin, she was a mother of 5 kids. What do you tell her 5 kids? Oh, sorry, Mr. Biden left the door open. Mr. Biden let him come in. But everybody wants to, all these Democrats want to keep playing like they're the angels. They're the perfect ones. They're the ones that we need to follow, because if we don't, our world's going to, our United States is going to turn into an oligarchy ran by a Nazi fascist. Come on. They're trying to distract you, people. All they can do is distract and destroy. That's what they do. They want their power back. They don't have no power now, and it's eating at them. They don't know what to do. They're scrambling. Honestly, I don't care who's the head of their party right now, because if you do your research, they're all fucking nuts. I'm sorry, but it's crazy. And at the end of the day, we are Americans, and we need to stand up for what's right. We need to support what's right. Do your research. Do your research. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Please remember to hit that like button. It helps get the video out there. Share it with your friends and family. We're just getting started here. I appreciate everybody. I love y'all. Stay safe. Happy Easter. God bless America. Flags are at half-staff for the Pope's death. So they'll be electing a new Pope here shortly. We'll see how that process goes. Maybe we'll do a video on that. But I hope everybody had a good holiday, and be safe, be mindful, watch your surroundings, and just be safe, man. God bless you. God bless my fellow Americans, and God bless America. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.